Babaenibaba.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to yet another interesting edition of Babaenibaba. My name is Babaenibaba, the master storyteller of Nigeria land. Today, I am going to be telling you a very interesting story. So come sit, and let's go through this story together. The night is calm, and the moon is round and bright, watching us from the velvet sky. Do you feel the gentle night breeze? It carries with it the whisper of old secrets and ancient wisdom. So tonight, I'll tell you a story of sorrow and joy, of fear and courage, of ignorance and enlightenment. It is a story from long ago in the land of Okon, a tale the wind still whispers to those who listen. As we say in our village, what an elder sees sitting down, a child cannot see even if they climb a tree. Indeed, I have so much to tell you tonight. So, open your ears and your hearts and listen to this very interesting story that happened in Nigeria a long time ago. It is the story of the sacred twins. In the village of Okon many seasons ago, there lived a humble farmer named Ubong and his wife Echanm. They were a loving couple. From their kindness and hard work, yet their compound was quiet, too quiet. No child's laughter echoed from their heart. No tiny fates pattered on the dusty floors. For 9 years, 9 good years of marriage, Echanm's womb had remained empty. Every night, she prayed to the gods for a child. But every morning, she woke with hope, tinged with despair. In those days, a woman without a child was seen as cursed by fate, and Echanm felt the weight of the judgment heavy on her shoulders. One fateful afternoon, Echanm went to the forest edge to gather firewood for the evening meal. The sun filtered through the tall trees, painting the ground with dancing patterns of light and shadow. Nearby, a group of village women were watching their toddlers, their children, play hide and seek amongst the bushes. Echanm, her arms full of dry wood, watched the children with longing. How sweet their laughter sounded, like the song of birds at dawn. She smiled, sadly, imagining for a moment that one of those little kids might be hers. Just then, a boy who had been hiding in the bushes burst from the undergrowth and collided with Echanm. The bundle of wood slipped from her grasp. Sticks clattered to the ground, and one small branch, tiny branch, grazed the boy's arm. He paused, surprised, and then his face crumpled and he let out a very loud wail. Immediately, the mothers who had been gossiping nearby snapped to attention. At the sound of their child's cry, they rushed over, their skirts flying like anxious birds. When the women saw Echanm standing there and the little boy sniffing with the few tears on his cheeks, they pounced on her with fury. Their words were sharper than any knife. "You witch! You barren snake! How dare you harm our child? That isn't even yours." One of them spat at her, her eyes blazing, and another one wagged a finger in Echanm's face. "You must have done it on purpose, you jealous woman. Because you have no child of yours, you want to hurt our own. You want to take him from us." You want others' own to suffer. Each accusation was like fresh thorn driven into Echanm's heart. She staggered back, speechless, as the other mothers gathered their children and scolded at her as though she were a dangerous beast. Echanm tried to explain. Her lips trembled, but no sound came. How could she? Tears already brimmed in her eyes. The boy, now safely in his mother's arms, had stopped crying and was curiously sucking his thumb. But the women did not stop their verbal assault. They called Echanm a witch who eats her own unborn babies. They said her empty womb was a curse she brought on herself. With each cruel word, Echanm felt her spirit cracking. It is said, when the roots of a tree begin to decay, it spreads death to the branches. In that moment, under the weight of those insults, the very roots of Echanm's soul felt as though they were decaying. Finally, the women left in a huff, clutching their toddlers with them, casting one last scornful glance at Echanm, who stood frozen like a statue carved from sorrow. The forest clearing grew quiet again, except for the soft sobbing of Echanm. She sank to the ground. Amidst the spilled firewood, hot tears carved path down her dusty cheeks. She cried until her throat ached, until no more sound came out, only silent grief. Her body shook with the force of despair. There alone, she lamented to the heavens, "Oh God, why have you cursed me so? Am I not a woman like them? Why won't you bless me with a child? Will you let them call me a witch forever?" She lifted her voice and eyes to the canopy of the leaves above, searching for an answer in the golden sunlight that tricked through. None came. Only the lonely calls of distant birds answered her cries. Unbeknownst to Echanm, someone had heard her. Near the path stood Teacher Okon, the village school teacher and a respected elder. He had witnessed the entire scene from a distance. Teacher Okon was a gentleman with wise eyes that had seen many rains and many droughts. He walked with a carved walking stick and spoke with the measured calm of one who listens more than he talks. As Echanm tried to gather the scattered pieces of firewood with trembling hands, Teacher Okon approached her. He cleared his throat softly to announce his presence. Echanm looked up, startled and embarrassed that someone had seen her humiliation. She hurriedly wiped at her eyes with the back of her hands, but her despair was obvious. Teacher Okon gave a kindly smile and placed a fatherly hand on her shoulders. "Daughter," he said gently, "I saw what happened." Echanm's voice cracked. "They are right. Maybe I am cursed indeed. Maybe I have angered the gods somehow. Why else? Why else won't they give me a child? Why else would my womb be empty for all these years?" Fresh tears threatened to spill, but Teacher Okon shook his head. "No, child. Rain does not fall on one roof alone. What troubles you troubles us all. We see your pain." He helped her to her feet. Though stooped with age, Teacher Okon's presence felt strong as an iroko tree at her side. He continued in a low, soothing tone. "Crying will not solve this, my dear. Yes, the heavens have their timing, and everything happens for a reason. A patient dog may eat the fattest bone. He chuckled softly, using a common adage to make her smile. You must not lose hope. What if the gods are waiting for you to be happy before they bless you? Worry and sorrow only make our spirits weak and our bodies sick. You have drowned yourself in tears for too long. Echanm, it is time for you to live again. Child. Echanm sniffed, listening. Teacher Okon's words were like cool water on the hot wounds of her heart. From now on, the old teacher advised, find joy in the life you have. Sing, dance, help others. Let gratitude fill your days. Whether or not a child comes, do not let bitterness make your womb even colder. He looked into her eyes. You see, what an elder sees sitting down, a child cannot see, even if they climb a tree. Trust my ears, Echanm. I foresee that joy will come if you open the door for it. Under the comforting guidance of this elder, Echanm managed a small nod. She took a deep breath and wiped her face properly. Teacher Okon even helped her to pick up the fallen firewood pieces and put them together. They walked back towards the village as the sun began to set in an orange haze through the trees. That evening, as darkness fell, those who passed by Ubong's compound heard something strange. Echanm was humming a song. Yes, that very night, that same night, Echanm remembered Teacher Okon's counsel. So she refused to wallow in pain like before. She refused to wallow in agony any longer. Instead, she lit a small oil lamp, cleared a space in the center of her heart, and began to sing an old lullaby. One her mother used to sing. Her voice quivered at first, but she kept singing, letting the melody fill the lonely corners of her home. Then she did something she had not done in a long time. She danced. Gently, swaying at first, then with more energy, dancing to the rhythm of hope. Her husband Ubong returned from the farm, paused at the doorway in surprise. This was his wife, smiling and dancing with an imaginary baby in her arms, the golden lamplight in her eyes. Ubong stepped in quietly and joined her in the dance without a word. He too had suffered all these years. The sting of seeing his beloved wife in pain, the quiet pitying looks from other men who had children, the unspoken disappointment that hung over their house. But now, seeing Echanm's smile, Ubong's heart lifted. They danced together, slow and gentle. In that unspoken moment, they understood each other's agony. They understood each other's sorrow and decided to share joy instead. Outside, the moon peeked from behind a cloud, behind the compound in silver light, as if blessing their renewed hope. Thus, Echanm changed her life. In the days that followed, she greeted everyone she met with a smile. She went to the stream with other women and did not flinch if they whispered about her. She even helped one of her former tormentors draw water when the woman's calabash was too heavy. She volunteered at the village school with Teacher Okon, singing with the children. She took care of a neighbor's baby when the tired mother needed rest. Echanm's laughter began to echo in the village once more. People were astonished. The barren woman who used to walk with eyes downcast now held her head high, humming tunes and spreading kindness. The cruel nickname, Awan Ekpo, childless witch that some had called her began to fade from their lips. Echanm was reclaiming a dignity, not by bearing a child, but by embracing life itself and staring at it with defiance. And then the miracle happened. Only a few moons after the fateful day, Echanm felt a strange change in her body. It was early morning when nausea seized her, and her breasts felt tender. Her heart fluttered with cautious hope. Could it be that she remembered these signs from other women's stories? With trembling hands, she counted the days since her last cycle and found it had been 2 months. Echanm's eyes widened. That afternoon, instead of collecting firewood, she went to find Teacher Okon's wife, who was also the village midwife. After a careful examination, the midwife broke into a wide grin. "Echanm, my daughter, you are with child." Echanm let out a cry of joy, so loud that birds perched on the nearby mango tree took flight. Pregnant? After 9 long years, the gods have heard her. She fell to her knees, thanking the Almighty and every benevolent spirit she could name. When she told Ubong the news that evening, he lifted her up and swung her around in delight. Laughter and tears of joy mingled in their faces. The couple's happiness was so great, it overflowed like a river in flood. The news spread quickly through Okoyong. Echanm, the once barren woman, was pregnant. The same neighbors who had mocked her now come bearing smiles and kola nuts, offering congratulations. Some a bit sheepishly, of course, but Ubong decided to host a celebration to thank those who supported them and to share their joy with the whole community. After all, in our land, it takes a village to raise a child, and the village must rejoice as one family. On the day of the celebration, their compound was alive with activities. Ubong tapped fresh palm wine from the raffia palms at dawn. Echanm and the women cooked a great pot of fragrant afang soup, rich with soft grains and smoked fish, and another pot of edikaikong, brimming with pumpkin leaves and water leaf, spiced with periwinkles and crayfish. Ah, how sweet! Mortars pounded yam until it was smooth and fluffy, to the eating with the soups. The aroma of cooking spread through the air, drawing smiling faces across the towns. By sunset, people gathered, families, friends, even those who had heard Echanm before came to share in the feast. Teacher Okon, of course, arrived with his wife. They were welcomed and seated with honor. Lanterns were hung on tree branches, and children chased each other under the tables while the adults chatted and ate. Ubong, nearly bursting with pride, served palm wine himself, insisting on filling everyone's cup. "Come, drink, my friends. Taste the goodness of life with us," he cheered. His joy was infectious. The drummers began to play a steady, happy rhythm on their talking drums and ekwe. As the stars blinked awake in the sky, Echanm emerged from her hurt, glowing with the warmth of pregnancy and contentment. She carried a small carved calabash filled with palm wine. With a grateful smile, she knelt briefly in front of Teacher Okon, offering him the calabash first, honoring the elder whose wisdom had lit the path to this moment. Teacher Okon accepted it, took a little sip, and pronounced the blessing. May the child in your womb be healthy and strong. May this child bring peace and prosperity to us all. The crowd responded with a heartfelt Ashe, meaning so shall it be. Then Echanm did something bold. She stood and addressed the gathering, her voice clear. My people, she said, I thank you for rejoicing with me. This past month, I have learned that sorrow is like a dark cloud. But if one has even a tiny flame of hope, it can light up the whole sky. I pray none of you ever loses hope. And I thank those who encouraged me when I was at my lowest. Our eyes found Teacher Okon and his wife, and then her husband, Ubong. Truly, rain does not fall on one roof alone, as I said earlier. You all shared in all my pain, and now you shared in my joy. May we always share each other's burdens as one family. The villagers murmured in agreement, touched by her words. And that night, laughter and songs rose into the air of Okoyong. Ubong danced with Echanm, careful of her growing belly, of course, both of them grinning like fools in love. The drums beat faster, villagers clapped in time. The moon and stars bore witness to a community united in happiness. And in the midst of the revelry, Teacher Okon leaned over to the younger man beside him and said, Do you see what has happened? Joy has come at last. The young man nodded, toasting Echanm with his cup. Teacher Okon smiled and added softly, However long the night, the dawn will surely break. The old proverb floated on the night air, full of promise. As Echanm's pregnancy progressed, her belly grew large and round. She was one of those expectant mothers who glowed. Her skin shone like polished mahogany wood, and her laughter grew even more frequent, like a bubbling stream. But as moons passed, Echanm began to notice something unusual. At night, when she lay very still, she felt not one, but two different regions inside of her belly. A flutter on the left, a kick on the right. I am going to take a break here on this very interesting story. Join us on the next episode for another concluding part of this story of Ubong and Echanm. I'll tell you how the story evolved, but I don't want to let the cat out of the bags yet. Until the next time, when I bring you the concluding part of this story, my name remains Babaenibaba, the master storyteller of Nigeria land. I'll see you on the next episode. Bye for now.